Daddy used to fix things with duct tape and prayer, and taught me to drive from a lawn chair. Mama had rules, she'd forget by 10, then yell about the rule I broke again. My brother once shaved off half my brow, said it'd grow back stronger, still waiting now. And Sunday school meant dressing sharp, till I spilled punch on Miss Patty's scarf. Yeah, I was raised right and a little bit wrong on hand-me-down wisdom and half-finished songs. We laughed till it hurt, fought like a sport, said grace, raised Cain and fixed it on the porch. I didn't have much, but I had enough, a mess of love and homemade tough. Now I say please, I hold the door, and I cuss less than I did before. Grandpa swore by bacon grease, rubbed it on Burns toast and car seats. My aunt once tried to pierce my ear with a safety pin and a can of beer. Chores were done with country bribes. You finish mowing, I'll let you drive. We played in dirt, climbed roofs for fun, and didn't come in till the street lights won. I learned math from splitting pie and how to lie from Uncle Ty, but I learned truth from Mama's eyes and how to stand when I'd rather cry. It wasn't perfect, but it made me strong. Taught me right even when we were wrong. To laugh at life, to want for that, to stick with family even on the wild ride. It wasn't perfect, but it made me strong. Taught me right even when we were wrong. To laugh at life, to work with pride, to stick with family even on the wild ride. It wasn't perfect, but it made me strong. Taught me right even when we were wrong. To laugh at life, to work with pride, to stick with family even on the wild ride. Yeah, I was raised right and a little bit off on cast iron dinners and secondhand cloth. We built character out of scraped up knees and made do better than PhDs. We weren't fancy, but Lord, we felt rich with love so loud it had a twitch. Now I teach my boy what I was taught, that respect is earned and socks are not. So here's to the chaos that raised me well, to the burnt toast, the belly laughs, and the backyard belts. I turned out alright, crooked smile and all. We had 5 folks, 1 bathroom stall, and every single towel was 2 feet tall. My sister hogged a mirror like it paid her rent, and the hot water bill was heaven sent. Dad's recliner had its own zip code, and the couch was missing half its load. Mama could cook, but Lord, she'd yell, who microwaved a fork again? Oh well. Yeah, the house was loud, but the love was louder. We had burnt toast, duct tape, and 0 powder. We didn't have much, but we sure had laughs, and a chore chart held up a bubble bath. We slammed them doors, we hollered and cried, but somehow we always stood side by side. If I'm tough and kind, it's 'cause I was raised where the house was loud and love was louder. I learned to drive in a field yelling break while eating a snack. We fixed the roof with a tarp and hope and made rope swings out of Grandma's rope. Had a dog named Tank who feared balloons, and a fridge that played its own sad tunes. We ate off plates with chips and cracks, but the stories we told, no price on that. We fought over TV and who got the last role, but when it got real, we shared one soul. I wore my brother's hand-me-down shoes, and Mama's hugs cured more than the news. It wasn't clean and it wasn't calm, but it built a man with steady palms, with grit in his gut and jokes in his jaw, who still calls home just because. Yeah, the house was loud, but the love was louder. We had bedtime fights and 2 shower hours. We passed down scars like they were gold, and kept all the secrets Mama never told. We threw mashed potatoes and made amends, and never let go of family or friends. I count my blessings like childhood chowder. That house was loud, but love way louder. So when folks ask what made me tough, I say it wasn't boot camp, it was breakfast with 4 siblings, 1 toaster, and a dream. I learned to drive in a cornfield rut with my old man screaming, "Don't hit the truck." He had a Mountain Dew and nerves of steel while I gripped that wheel like a Navy SEAL. I learned to shave with a butter knife and to never lie unless it's to your wife. Just joking. Grandpa talked poker with the deck all bent, said read the room, not just what's spent. Yeah, they taught me like that, a little rough, a little wild, with a wink in their eye and a hand on the dial. Didn't use books, didn't quote no saint, but they showed me how to fix it with grit and paint. How to own your words, shake a hand firm and flat. They didn't say much, but Lord, they taught me like that. Uncle Ray said real men cook and clean right before he lit the grill with gasoline. Mama showed me grace with a wooden spoon and how to dance offbeat in a living room. I learned heartbreak in the school of hard knocks, and how to fight fair with hand-me-down socks. How to fold a flag and stand up tall and say I was wrong without feeling small. They didn't have much, but they gave me gold in the way they lived and the stories told. Taught me laughter heals what pride can't fix, and duct tape covers most bad pics. How to laugh at yourself and mean it too. How to stay when it's easier to be through. To cry in private but never lie, and if you love someone, show it or try. Yeah, they taught me like that, boots on, chin up, with more love and silence than 1,000 hugs. Didn't have plaques or letters or fame, but they knew how to lose without feeling shame. How to hold your ground, tip your hat, and lead with honor. Yeah, they taught me like that. No classroom, no diploma, just a driveway, a busted truck, and a whole lot of love that taught me everything I needed to know. used to roll my eyes at Dad's old ways, called his flannel shirt a fashion delay. Thought Mama's hugs were just too long, and Grandma's rules were mostly wrong. I'd grown when chores came round at dawn, tuned out advice like nothing's wrong. Tried to run before I knew how to stay. Didn't know I'd miss those days. I didn't know back then what I know now, that a little dirt don't hurt somehow. That time runs fast like a midnight train, and pride comes cheap when you feel real pain. I didn't see the love in that firm old tone, or that get back up meant you're not alone. But those small town hands, they shaped my skin, and I didn't know back then. I thought success was a fancy ride, not busted boots and quiet pride. Didn't see worth in home-cooked meals, just wanted wheels and a thrill that feels. I traded wisdom for quick applause, laughed at rules and broke a few laws, but somehow they all stood by me still. Now that's the kind of love that builds. I've said some things I wish I hadn't, took the easy road when I should have battled. But every scar and every bit brought me back to where it all began. That crooked porch, that slow goodnight, that faith they held when I wasn't right. Turns out the truth was never far. It was right there in who they are. I didn't know back then what I know now, that patience speaks without a shout, that real strength comes from staying near, not running off when the path ain't clear. I didn't see the golden broken things, or that roots grow deeper through weathered springs, but they gave me more than I could comprehend, and I didn't know back then. I wear that same old flannel proud, I hug my boy and say it loud. I know you'll roll your eyes, my friend, but you'll thank me. Toast but saves every card, and Daddy mows stripes like it's NASCAR. My sister swears too much in prayer, and Grandma's got snacks in her folding chair. We fight over dinner, cry in the yard, then pass the cornbread like nothing's hard. Got cousins who borrow and never return, but when life gets messy, this house still learns. Yeah, this porch built me plank by plank, with loud opinions and a gasless tank, with hand-me-downs and Sunday grace, and that old dog begging by the fireplace. We ain't fancy, but we're rock steady, slamming doors, hearts always ready. If love is loud, then we're symphony. Yeah, chaos and kin, that's my family. Mom swears he saw Bigfoot twice, and Auntie Jean gives relationship advice. That cousin who borrows is now a preacher, but we still laugh when he says don't feature. We fix flat tires with duct tape hope, and Mama cures stress with banana loaf. We celebrate big and grieve real slow, then drag lawn chairs to the front row show. We've been broke, we've been wild, raised our kids and our inner child. We hug like wrestlers, yell like fans, but show up with casseroles and empty hands. We age, we change, but we don't let go. We send weird memes when it's time to show love that sticks through every season. Messy, loud, and full of reason. This porch built me with screens and stains, with bedtime stories and muddy rains, with I'm sorries that come too late, and second helpings on every plate. It ain't perfect, but it raised me well, with roots so deep they could outrun hell. If I fall apart, they'll carry me. That's not just blood, that's my family. So here's to the names I carry proud, the voices that echo when it gets too loud. They made me who I am, flaws and all. With love, with grit, and one screen door that still won't close right. Cousin said you can't drown in mud. Right before I sank past my belt and crud, he tossed me a branch that snapped in two, then said, now you know what not to do. My brother taught me how to flirt with pickup lines he stole off a t-shirt. Said confidence wins, forget your face. I got slapped, but dang, I held my grace. I learned life lessons from the wrong people, in trucks with no tags and barns with no steeples. We skipped school but showed up for fishing, gave bad advice like it was a mission. They said, don't sweat what you can't glue back, and never trust chili at a cook-off shack. Might have been wrong, but they felt so right. They built my gut and half my bite. Uncle Dale said you don't need brakes, just shift down and pray through the lakes. He drove through storms with a sandwich in hand, yelled, this is why God gave us land. Granny once fixed my sunburn fast with butter, vinegar, and sass. She said, doctor, no, that's witchcraft trap, and wrapped my arm in bubble wrap. We played football with no pads or plan, learned to run fast and land like a man. If you cried, they'd hand you a snack, or laugh so hard they'd throw their back. They taught me charm and survival tricks, like how to fish with gum and sticks. We didn't grow up smooth or tame, but dang, we turned out proud of the name. Yeah, I learned life lessons from the wrong crowd, but we stood up tall and we laughed out loud. We patched flat tires with elbow grease and fixed heartbreak with bacon grease. They said don't trust a ladder that folds itself, and it loves like bourbon, sip not shelf. Might have been nuts, but they were my tribe, and I thank them all for the ride of my life. So if you're wondering why I turned out this way, blame the folks who raised me with snacks, super glue, and terrible but unforgettable advice. Mama caught me skipping school. Said you can run, boy, but not past the pool. She was waiting there with a flip-flop raised. Lesson learned, don't test the woman who raised you. Grandpa told me, son, don't lie. Then lied to Grandma about his fishing alibi. She found the worms in the apple pie tin. Lesson learned, don't hide nothing in the kitchen. It was spilled milk, sharp turns, backyard burns, bad advice and twisty turns. A whole lot of oops with a touch of grace, and a cousin yelling, bet you won't, in my face. No textbooks, just trial and error, taught by folks with duct tape flair. Might not be in the books or sermons, but every dumb thing came with a lesson learned. Uncle Joe said, try the swing off the shed. I flew so far, I saw the neighbor's bed. Broke a rake, my pride in Mama's rose bush. Lesson learned, gravity don't care how cool you look. My sister told me, eat this pepper, it's sweet. Then filmed me crying in the toilet seat. I hiccup fire for 3 straight days. Lesson learned, don't trust anyone who laughs first always. We patched up fights with peanut butter, learned to forgive by blaming each other. Fixed our bikes with shoelace knots, and learned I'm sorry means a lot if there's ice cream involved. It was burnt toast, wrong turns, learning to swerve, getting bit by love and tangled in nerves. Aren't these rules and daddy's stares? And what in the world from everywhere? Didn't grow up rich, but I grew up tough. And funny enough, that was more than enough. Yeah, they raised me on love and a twist of absurd. But every slip up came with a lesson learned. So if I seem a little off, just know I was homeschooled by professionals. A barefoot grandma, an uncle with no filter, and a cousin with zero sense of fear. So if I seem a little off, just know I was homeschooled by professionals. A barefoot grandma, an uncle with no filter, and a cousin with zero sense of fear.
If you enjoyed this playlist, there's so much more coming your way that I know you'll love. Support the journey by hitting that subscribe button, give this video a like, and stay tuned for more great content. Thanks for being here.